Do you remember what happened that night?
I do remember. Because I was on duty that night. I wasn't on the door. That was the inside man, Anthony Black, because he's the one that opened the door for them and let them in. But I was inside and I was making sure that the safe was okay. But they came through the door, and my friend Bentley, he's a lot bigger than me, and they came in and they obviously saw him more as a threat, so they just knocked him out with with the gun, the big gun that they had, and and then and then they obviously came to me, and we get told not to be a hero, so we just, you surrender, and they sat me in the chair and they tied me up, and they were, at one point he was flying this knife around and he actually cut my wrist in the process of it, um, and and then they tied me down and they poured petrol all over me, and they threatened to set me alight unless I give them the code. And well, obviously I gave them the code to the first one, and that's where they got all the gold. And then the second safe is to the money. And I guess it was the pressure or anything, but I couldn't remember the code for the money safe. So they obviously tried to get it off of me, but I couldn't remember. So they didn't get the money and they left with just the gold.
How did they manage to get in?
Well, the inside man, Anthony Black, he opened the door for them, because the robber was his wife's brother, and she had obviously convinced him to open the door for them and let it in, and they let him in on the money. But in the end, he actually reported them or testified to the police, so as to reduce his sentence and live a different life.
And finally, do you feel betrayed?
I guess you could say that. I guess I do feel a little betrayed, as I knew him, and although he wasn't a good friend, he was a friend, and we go for a drink. We went for a drink a few times, but I just didn't really expect it, to be honest. It was a big surprise, and obviously a very traumatic experience.